So, can we just go back to some type of normalcy again? Like, the economy is an absolute shambles. It's an absolute ruins. It's done for in the U.S. The U.S. economy is absolutely done for. And on top of the U.S. economy just being absolutely destroyed and done for, I've been thinking, a lot these days, and especially these past few days, I've been thinking of just like, besides the economy being completely destroyed, everything is just completely ass backwards. And I'm trying to figure out when it became that way. I remember back in 2012, I was with my girlfriend at the time. I was 19. And things were normal. Like, I had a normal job. I had a job. Yes, the job still didn't pay that well, but things were normal. What do I mean by normal? And this is going to be a very controversial video. Sure, this might offend some people, but my followers know that I don't really care if this offends anybody. I'm going to speak my mind. I miss when things were normal. I miss when people didn't care about pronouns. I miss when people weren't offended by everything. I remember 2009, 2008, 2007, early 2000s to mid 2000s. I remember technology being there, not as prevalent, not nearly as prevalent as it is today. I remember still going outside, playing with friends. We used to play airsoft all the time. Me and my brother and our neighbor, we used to play airsoft. He used to come over into our yard, into our neighborhood. We'd play airsoft. We would take cover behind the electrical boxes. We'd have 2 big tubs of BB pellets outside. We'd have our electric airsoft guns. We'd go outside. It was a nice sunny day. Good memories. These were good memories. We'd shoot each other. We'd have vests on at the same time. We'd play. We'd be laughing. We'd be having a good time. We'd, after that, we'd play water balloons outside. We'd set up the sprinkler. We had a sprinkler. We had a sprinkler with like a noodle sprinkler that would just like go crazy. You'd set it up with the hose and it would spray everywhere. We would play water balloons. We would hit each other with water balloons. We would set up a whole bunch of buckets of water balloons. Neighborhood kids would come over to our house. We'd play water balloons. We'd go over to their house. We'd play water balloons. We'd get super soakers. We would play with super soakers. As much as I like to talk on this channel about, a lot of the abuse that happened, there were still good moments, within the emptiness of my life and growing up with narcissistic parents, there were still good moments, I still had some friends back then. I remember how good life used to be, at times, like it was good. I remember setting up the pool, having an inflatable pool, going over to the friend's house. One of our friends had a pool, a giant pool. We'd go over to his friend's house. We'd go over to his house and we'd sit in the pool, or we'd have our own pool in the backyard, inflatable pool. And we'd just swim around in that. We would play badminton in the backyard. On a hot summer night, we'd play badminton. We would... I remember as a kid growing up, and one day I got the Stomp Rockets. Like I said, it wasn't all bad. One day I got the Stomp Rockets for my birthday. It was one of my family. I forgot who it was, but I got the Stomp Rockets for my birthday. You set them up, and I used to play with that with my brother and my sister all the time in the summer. You set them up, and you jump as high as you can, and you just squash down on it. And the rocket would go up and up and up and up and up, and I think it would go up to like 300. It would go up to like 300, 400 feet in the air. You barely even able to see this rocket. But I just remember me and my brother, we were so amazed at this Stomp Rocket. We were so amazed at how far it went up and how long it took to come down, and just like trying to catch it in the air as it was coming down from the air, and just remembering how good. I'm just remembering how good these feelings felt, and remembering how good life was back then. Back when kids played with each other. Back when we did stuff. Back when there was block parties. I remember there was block parties a lot growing up. At least on my neighborhood block, there's block parties and stuff. Like things used to be good back then. I had again with my neighbor, he invented this game. I think it was called, what do you call it? He called it like Drug Runner or something like that. And it was basically like freeze tag, but he called it Drug Runner. It was like, this was like, I don't know, 2007, 2008. We go outside with my brother and we played this Drug Runner game. It was like with 10 people. It was like a huge thing. And play in the middle of the summer, and everybody was just running around. Like, we'd be able to hide in certain parts. We could hide in the woods. Like, there was a huge wooded area we could hide in. It was like woods for miles, and we asked for permission from the neighborhood, houses, if we could, because the woods were kind of like segregated, so you couldn't just go throughout the entire woods. But we would ask for permission, when we go to the woods, can we go to your side of the woods or whatever, and we would go into it, and we would the game was played was played with a small foam football or whatever, and everybody would go hide, or they would run away into different neighborhoods, and whoever was chosen to be the drug runner, they would throw the ball at somebody, and if you got hit 3 times, then you were out, and it was fun, and then the last person standing won, and then they would become the drug runner, and then it would repeat itself. So it was kind of like freeze tag, but a little bit different. I remember, just playing with toys in the house. I remember playing with electronics. I remember playing with BattleBots growing up with me and my brother. We would play BattleBots. I had one called like the Diablo. It was red. He had another one. It was like a Saw one. And we'd play in the house. We'd play BattleBots. And I remember we used to play them by the stairs. The door was open, and the BattleBots would fall downstairs, and they were good. It was fun. These were good times. I remember going to I remember going to my friend's house and playing the GameCube, playing the old games, and Super Smash Brothers all the time, until I finally got a GameCube. And it was great. It was fun, good times, and I remember just how good everything used to be at times. We still had technology, but we played with each other. I'm going to go into a few more stories, then I'm going to talk about the things that I just dislike about today, because there's so much to dislike. Not even dislike, just hate about today. Just hate. I'm going to go into it. But I remember going over to my friend's house. We would buy lightsabers. We had a bunch of lightsabers. I mean, this was when I was a kid, and Star Wars Episode 3 came out. That was when all the kids started getting the lightsabers. After Phantom Menace, and then Star Wars Episode 3 came out, all of us were getting lightsabers. Everybody had a lightsaber. Those bad ones that are really hard to put away. You gotta smack them on the ground. But I remember I had a blue and a green lightsaber. My brother had a green one, I think, or something. I had a blue one. We'd go over to my friend's house, our friend's house, and we'd just play lightsabers in the woods and stuff, and it was fun, it was a good time. And you just don't see that anymore with these kids. The way they've grown up, even when I was with my ex, in 2012, we practically raised her kids, because her parents were never home. They were in the middle of a divorce, then her dad got divorced, and then her mom remarried a guy who didn't like kids at all, so we were always babysitting her kids. But I just remember even back then, it was just even 2012, 2013, 2014, the tablets were coming out, and they were getting addicted to the tablets, constantly on the tablets. The kids were, even back then, not nearly as much today. I mean, kids are completely engrossed in the tablets, everything. But I remember it was getting bad back then in 2014, 2015. And it's just like now you have everything just ass backwards. Nobody goes outside really anymore from what I've seen. The look on people's faces. The look on people's faces post-COVID. You know, everybody just seems sad. They seem down. They just seem depressed. Miserable. Everybody I know is just facing hardship. You know, my friend just sent a message to me saying he got fired from his job and he's working on Amazon. I don't have any friends, by the way, who are in any good jobs. All poor. My friends are all poor. The ones I have. And just life just seems to be taking a big turn for the worst. I mean, I've never been, you know, I try to hold it together and I'm still motivated and optimistic to get out of my situation, but I've never seen so many depressed people in society in 2025. I have never seen so many my friends depressed or just down and out or losing their jobs or just like giving up pretty much. You know, like one of my last friends, last time I talked to him, he was living with his aunt. I think he's still living with his aunt because he lost his apartment, couldn't make the car payment. Like, I've never seen so many people down and out in 2025. Never seen it. I've never seen so much, like, degeneracy in 2025. Where, look, okay, I have no hate against transgender people, but I don't understand where this all came from of, you know, people encouraging each other to mutilate their bodies, for example. If you want to do that as an adult, okay, that's fine. Again, I have no hate towards transgender people, but I like all these things that are happening today that are just, in my opinion, not really right. Like convincing kids that it's okay to go through some kind of sex transition. You know, I'm not okay with that. You know, I just don't understand that. This is just one thing I just think is not normal. Like, why, like, people, you know, and I've seen before and after photos of, you know, people who have done it. It's just like, you look fine before, and it just makes me feel like, you know, why would you do that to yourself? Like, you were beautiful before, you were good looking before, and then you just felt the need to, like, go through this painful operation of, you know, changing your gender, or trying to change your gender. It's just like, I don't understand that. Again, no hate towards transgender people, but, you know, I just don't know when people started convincing other people that they should be doing that. Like, if you want to do it, if you really feel like you need to do that, you can, but I don't understand it. You know, another thing is the pronouns. Is when do these pronouns start becoming so prevailing? Another ass backwards thing is like when, you know, I was reading one day a Demi Lovato thing on the internet, an article, and like Demi Lovato like referred to her as a they or something like that. The article was like, they is really pretty or something like that. They is really pretty to have something. And once I read the article, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? They, them, this, her, that. Why are we calling each other? Why is a he a they? Why is a she a the? And why I don't understand. Why is a he a them, a she a the, a her a they? What's up with that? What's up with this pronoun thing? And right now, you can't see it for all my subscribers, but another thing is COVID has just made everybody crazy. This guy just flew right past me. Like he had to go to the hospital or something. I'm getting off track, but like, you know, the other thing is we have gender is what you feel taught in school to little kids. I remember talking to one of my friends, and his daughter came home from school, and he was telling me about how, you know, this is a friend of a friend, sorry. He was telling me about how his dad had to like teach her daughter that no, there's only two genders, a male and a female. And yes, for all my audience, I'm sorry, there's only two genders, okay? This is a controversial video. And it's like they're teaching kids that gender is what you feel, and that's not true. Gender's not what you feel. I'm sorry. It's not. Okay? What else do we have? We have drag queens in school, freaks in school, who are also at times sexual abusers, pedophiles in school, teaching these kids about sex. These little kids about sex. Like, what is going on with the world? Why is everything so ass backwards? And now we have everybody out here on top of that saying everybody should just do what they want, dress however they want, no matter how it looks. Throw away all your morals. All your morals, throw them away. Don't have any morals. Just do whatever you want. Nothing matters anymore. Like, this is the kind of world we're living in. And, you know, we're living in a, now with post-COVID, we're living in an episode of Black Mirror, where there's cameras everywhere. Pretty soon we're going to have facial recognition cameras everywhere, like China. A social credit system like China. Like, things are bad. Things are bad. Things are really bad. They're really ass backwards. They really are. They're really ass backwards. And now, you know, greed's taking over the world. Robotics and AI is going to replace everybody. You know, eventually within the next 5-6 years, millions of jobs are going to be lost. Like, this truly is the beginning of nobody wants to, you know, this is truly the beginning of you will own nothing and be happy. This is the elimination of the middle class, where there will only be two classes, poor and rich. And degeneracy and debauchery will be rampant and will continue ramping up as the years go on. So maybe it's me, maybe I'm crazy, but we're just like, when did all this start? Did drag queens started teaching kids in school about sex? Little kids about sex? When did these pronouns start? When did everybody all of a sudden start transitioning into different genders, or trying to, at least, because there's only two genders? When did everybody's morals just start going out the window? Or has it always been this way? Or were there just a bunch of people that were waiting in the dark, waiting for everybody else to do it, so they could start doing it, so they could start throwing their morals away, their values out the window? Because I don't know, man. Back in 2009, 2012, I was just a little high schooler playing Call of Duty. Nobody was offended by anything on any of this shit. Remember the Call of Duty days in the lobbies where everybody was swearing at each other? Nobody was offended by everything. There were no pronouns. What's your pronouns? There were no, you can't misgender me. There was no Me Too. There was none of this crazy crap going on. There was no, there was no crazy COVID-19. There was no craziness. I don't know, man. I just want to get back to some normalcy. I want kids to grow up the way I did. I want them to not be, sure, I grew up with games. I grew up with technology like anybody else. But again, like I said, it wasn't so prevalent. Excuse me. Jesus Christ, I can't say the word today. Like, we did things, we went outside. In the summer, the fireflies came out. We would grab a jar or a net. We would catch fireflies. I remember going to Walmart. There were butterfly catching nets. We'd catch butterflies. We'd bring them home. We'd watch them, fly around in the butterfly net. Or we would catch a caterpillar. We would watch it evolve over the weeks into a butterfly. We would do things. We would play baseball. We would hit a ball in the backyard. We'd play soccer. We'd roller skate around. We play hockey in the street with roller skates. You know, we did things back then as kids. We still went outside. We still talked to each other. We weren't so stuck, so glued to our smartphones, to technology. Well, there was none of it anymore, but you get the point. We weren't glued to a bunch of smartphones. I just miss the days where people went outside, kids went outside, kids did things. Now everybody's just so depressed from this post-apocalyptic COVID Fallout 4 nightmare, this post-apocalyptic Fallout 4 nightmare that we fucking live in, where just everything's expensive, there are no jobs, everybody's faces look miserable and depressed, and it just seems like the light has gone out of everybody's eyes. The light has gone out of like everybody's eyes. Like nobody has hope anymore for anything. I don't know, man. It's up to parents who have kids to raise them how they were raised, you know? It's up to the parents who are still having kids, who are still crazy and brave enough to have kids in this brave new world, more like this fucked up new world that we're living in right now. This new world, this new fucked up world that we have to navigate. It's up to these parents to show these kids, these future generations, Gen Alpha, and the future generations before them, after them, I should say, what the old world was like, how the old world was, the things that we used to do, the memories that we used to make, and, you know, the friendships we used to have. So, I'm gonna end this video there. I've been thinking about this for days, and it's just an off-hinged rant. It just, how badly I've noticed things just get so bad. How badly things have gotten, in my opinion, in the last 10 years. How badly I've noticed things have gotten. And like I said, I just want some sense of normalcy again. I want to feel like there's a community of people of people in America again, like there once was, who cared about each other, who helped each other, who weren't so focused on themselves. Now it's completely 100% every man for itself. Every man for himself. Nobody has the time, money, or energy to help anybody else anymore. Everybody's struggling. So, I'm gonna end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this completely unscripted rant. I've been, all of this stuff has just been really bothering me over the weeks. I've been just thinking about this over and over and over in my head at work. And I couldn't stop thinking about it, and I had to make a video. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Put a comment down below. Let me know if you agree with a lot of the things I'm saying, and let me know if you disagree with a lot of the things I'm saying. Yeah, and leave a comment also if you want me to. If you have another video recommendation, leave a like if you like this video. And yeah, guys, I really wish that we could get some of what we used to have back, some of that old world we used to live in. But unfortunately, guys, I don't think we're ever gonna get any kind of semblance of normalcy like we once had. So, until the next video, I'm gonna end it here. I just got home. Talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.